people. And that is why we are clamoring for this zonal intervention and constituency projects. And of course, you know the advantages of those constituency projects. When people are saying it, the uninitiated will think it's money we are carrying to our various federal constituencies. No, it's project. If you go to my federal constituency, for the first time, especially since 2009, people are now seeing that there's some federal presence. Because if you build classroom blocks, if you put electricity, put transformer, if you build halls and so on and so forth, these are from federal government budget and also not from the state. And people are beginning to appreciate them.
Now you speak of constituency projects, but there are hundreds of constituency projects scattered across the country which have been abandoned, not completed.
It's a result of the non-implementation, and there's nothing you can do about it. It's not because the members were given the money they did not do. No. Remember that what people do, and I want the press to elaborate this to people who don't know. You know, many people think that when we talk of constituency projects, the money is being given to members. I don't know how many times we say that. But you know that when the executive, when the award is contract to contractors, it's possible they can pay 50%. When they get there, they get stocked. For them to take the balance, they say there's no money. So it's borders on non-implementation. Borders on non-release of funds. So that's why you're seeing most of them. It's not because they were given, members were given the projects and given the money, etc. No, the members will fill in some of those projects in the budget, as the case may be, depending on what the federal constituency is lacking. But the executive will also award the contracts to people they know, or some contractors who qualify. Some of these contractors, at times they give them mobilization, at times they give them money. If they give them some money, they got stuck somewhere. When they go back to get the balance, they may say that there's no money. So that's not really, that's where the problem is. The problem of the executive and the contractors.
I was wondering, is there no way that the National Assembly can devise some sort of mechanism to, you know, ensure that abandoned constituency projects are completed before embarking on new constituency projects?
I think that's part of the negotiation that's going on. But that's part of the story that's going on. Because you know, with that budget, you saw some debt, some money that is mapped up for debt. Maybe from there they'll be able to consider some of the projects that were not done in 2017. Again, it's also possible that the leadership, the presiding officers of both chambers may find a way of mapping out specific money through the executive on how to deal with constituency projects, so that whenever the budget, we say this amount, the zonal intervention is for this. Once you map out money for that specific, they will be done. But when you mix it up, and the executive is offering, maybe they give one contractor about 6 classrooms, and mobilize him a bit, up to maybe 50%. By the time he finishes and goes back for further money, they say non-release, we're having problem.
Now, there's this argument about the relevance of these constituency projects, because some have said some of these constituency projects are quite frivolous. You talk of town hall meetings, construction of churches and mosques. How relevant are these projects?
I want you to show me an example of where the constituency project is a church or mosque. They're not there. I've not seen since I came to National Assembly, I've not seen where people use constituency projects to build mosques and churches. If you don't have town hall in your place where people meet to even discuss how to support the government, are they going to be meeting in the field or the open places? You should speak like a Nigerian. Town halls are there. That's why, okay, when you see that the president goes to Ogbere, for instance, and there's a town hall meeting, what's the meaning? Town hall meeting does not mean you go to the field. You go into the town hall. Town hall meeting, that's where you stay to discuss. That's why it's very relevant. Town hall meetings. Every community is supposed to have a town hall, a community hall. So if you are opportunity to be here and your people don't have it, there's nothing wrong in putting it there.
We are aware that 2017 budget had less than 10% performance. So we're wondering, were they going to set aside the 2017 budget? Was it going to go alongside 2018? one would have thought that there's something called budget performance. What was the executive? What were they coming to tell us about budget performance of 2017? You know, and the House of Representatives being what it is and who we are, we quickly reacted because we know that the 2017 budget was nothing to be impressed about. Yes, some could say is a document that could be set aside depending on what is happening, but then it's supposed to be a guide to the Nigerian economy. For this year, well, maybe the executive will be looking at trying to hinge their belief on one or two things. I am trying to look around the budget, the economy now that it looks like they are going into, and that is private partnership. If the executive is really interested in issue of private partnership, they could begin to free some money. For instance, if you look at the area of airports, you look at the area of refineries, you look at the areas where government is holding on tightly to, that the private sector would ordinarily do better. That could help the economy if they fine-tune issues of policy as to looking in that direction. Again, if we look at the oil output, and we're looking at if the federal government is going to base a surprise performance on oil revenue, that could also be one of the magic stones. But for me, I want to act on hope and faith that most Nigerians act on.